Hi everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Back in a Mill. I'm joined today by Lucy Greenwood, who is the director and owner of LG House of Beauty. So thank you so much for coming down and seeing me today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to ask you some questions.
Me too. This is my first ever podcast, so
How
I'm
exciting.
absolutely buzzing.
Oh, so is it what you expected it would be so far?
Yeah, and more.
Amazing.
Love it.
Amazing. So let's get kick-started then with kind of, because I really am interested because I have looked at a lot of your work. I've looked at your Instagram and you're very impressive.
Thank you.
So I would really like to know where you've kind of started and what your initial dream was before all of the, success and everything else. So where did this start for you?
So when I went to school, I was just like the naughtiest kid in the world. Like I was always getting sent home. I just couldn't do like academic stuff. So when I left school and it was time to go to college, I just didn't want to be there anymore. And obviously then you didn't have to go to school till you're 18, whereas now you have to be in full-time education till you're 18, don't you? So the minute I left school, I was like, right, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to college. I was just like a rebel. I was like, not doing anything.
Love that.
So my dad was like, you're not sitting around here all day. You're going to have to go and get yourself a job. So I landed myself as a dental nurse. So I started doing an apprenticeship when I was a dental nurse so I started that when I was about 18 and it was very boring.
Okay. Wasn't for you.
Wasn't for me at all. However, I did that for 6 years just because it was the only thing I was qualified to do. And I did find myself working at a cosmetic dentist, which was a little bit more fun.
Kind of more into the realms of beauty.
A little bit more like veneers and stuff that I was actually interested in. And there was one woman that worked there and she actually did fillers and Botox. But when I was 18, fillers and Botox was not like what it is now. She was like the only woman in the whole of the Manchester that was doing it. And there was one day where they were like, oh, we've not got a dentist for you to work with today. They're off. So you just like help the lady out. And I was just in awe of her. Aww. I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. Like, but I didn't even know that you could do it as a dental nurse. I thought you might have to be a doctor or I didn't actually know what.
Because this was going back now, wasn't it then? So
yes, this was like a good 12 years ago.
Yeah, this was kind of before everyone knew that it was possible to be in the industry without the certain. So how old are you?
I'm actually 30 in January.
Okay.
So nearly 30.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. No, that's not bad. I mean, I wish I was like nearly 30. So you was with this girl and obviously she was doing amazing and you just thought, wow.
Yeah, and then one day she actually did Michelle Keegan's lips. So she She came in to get the lips done and I was like, right.
No way.
If I do aesthetics, I'm going to be like her. Obviously, it didn't work out like that.
Yeah.
But I did it for 6 years. I absolutely hated it. It was just like really boring apart from when I was like getting to do stuff like that. So I used to always do makeup like from being 18, but it wasn't really a job. It was more a hobby. So I used to do like my friends and I used to do mobile when I started to drive. So then because I was so upset with being a dental nurse, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Aww. I then went and did an eyelash course. So I started doing eyelashes, makeup, like a bit of everything. And then I was only doing it for a year. And again, eyelashes and stuff wasn't that big then either. So I was, again, probably one of the only people in the area sort of doing it. So after a year, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get my own shop. Why not?
Wow.
I didn't really have many clients, but I thought, well, if I don't get any clients, I'll just close it. It doesn't really matter.
You took a risk.
Yeah, I was only 23 at the time. So I just opened it. I thought, let's just try it. And then that was in 2018. So in December. So it's pretty much 2019. Did it for a year and then we went into lockdown. So wasn't the best. But then in lockdown, I sort of saved up a load of money because I was like, right, I'm going to do like get a loan out. I'm going to sort myself out. I'm going to do what I actually want to do. And then I paid for my aesthetics course. Oh. And then the rest is history.
Amazing. So you really did take the opportunity whilst everything was still kind of new and fresh, because this is what I always say and I always find interesting. Everyone that's come into aesthetics now just assumes it was always a thing, but actually it wasn't. And there was a few people that were doing it that were really doing very well because of the lack of, I would say, non-medics that were doing it. Because I feel like when medics do treatments, they tend to do them more medically, whereas when individuals with beauty backgrounds, they tend to do something that's more shapes, and they can kind of have that more of an eye for the detail of what will suit them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what was lacking like 12 years ago.
I think as well, it's just the type of people you're around. So
Yeah.
like me as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old probably wouldn't have got my lips done by a doctor because I don't know any doctors. Whereas because I was
That's so true.
because I was 23 and I had all these clients coming and getting the lashes done, getting the makeup done, they're all girls like me.
Yeah.
Then that's where I kind of fell into doing aesthetics like that, because obviously they were the type of people around me asking for certain things. But at 18, 19, you're not necessarily going to know a doctor.
It's quite daunting, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
To think, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I suppose, I think that's the joy of it, is that because when you're in that same industry with other girls, you all kind of just love the same thing.
Yeah, you
so
all
you just
like
get
morph
it
into each other as
yeah,
well, don't you?
you just get it, and you're like, yeah, I know like how that girl would like her lips, or you know, whatever it is. So you've definitely took a few risks, you know, getting your shop and everything. So were you supported growing up to kind of follow your dreams, or is this something that you've just done yourself?
So yeah, I wouldn't say I wasn't ever not supported. However, when I did tell my dad I was leaving dental nursing to open a shop, he was like, "What are you doing?" Just because he obviously
was stressed.
with his generation, he was like, "You're not going to earn any money like putting makeup on people's faces or doing eyelashes." But obviously, their generation of people wouldn't understand that.
Yeah.
So he wasn't impressed. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but he was like, "Go for it, like you do you." So obviously, then when it finally took off, he was like, "Yeah, you was right." But yeah, I was quite supported. No one ever told me like you can't do that. But yeah, I feel like I was definitely supported, but they weren't like
That's
overly
good.
impressed by my
Yeah.
decision.
Well, I
to not do
suppose they
dental
were a
nurse.
bit like, this seems crazy, because it's like not something that everyone was doing. And I think that the beauty industry, not so much now, but I think back then it had a little bit of a stigma.
Yeah, like it's for me when I was younger, it was like only stupid people do hair and makeup.
Yeah,
like
it did have a stigma.
And it was like, oh, you're too clever to be doing something like that. But it's completely different now. And I think schools, to be honest, and colleges should like encourage it more now because
Yeah.
of how the beauty industry is. But I just don't feel like they do they?
I think schools still aren't getting it.
No, they're
I
not.
think schools just think it's hair and nails, and again, it comes from that older generation. But actually, there's so much more now these days in the industry, and there's so many avenues you can go. Even if you start with beauty, you can still go down a medical route.
Yeah, 100%.
You can start with beauty as a non-medic and do a level 7.
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't. I feel like they need to. This probably needs to be more of a thing in schools, actually.
And I know there's young girls and boys in school that aren't academic. They don't want to sit in a classroom. They don't necessarily want to go and be a lawyer or a doctor or something, but they don't know what they want to do. But
Yeah.
if that was available for me then to speak about, I would have been like, oh my God, yeah, I'm doing
I'm gonna
that.
do it.
But it was always, don't do that. You're too clever for that. But I actually wasn't too
Yeah.
clever for that at all.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it goes back to that, like, you have to do what's feels right for you. And I
Yeah.
think when you're 18 and 19, it's a bit more difficult.
You
'cause
haven't got a clue, have you? And I think kids are very pressured to like know what they want to do at that age, but how are you even meant to know it when, especially when they don't tell you everything?
Literally.
They just tell you like lawyer, doctor, solicitor,
Yeah.
accountant, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's crazy. And I suppose when you were 18 and you were doing all that, would you ever be sat here now thinking, oh yeah, I've got like LG House of Beauty that you operate, because you operate in a few locations, correct?
Yeah, so I've got the salon in Manchester, and that was the one that I opened in 2018. And then I've
Amazing.
also got the one in Portsmouth now, but we opened that one last year, 2023. But no, I would never have even, literally wouldn't have even dreamed of it. I thought I was just going to be a dental nurse for the rest of my life, to be honest.
Lucy. So when you opened your second one in Portsmouth, was that easier to open than your first one because you'd got a bit more
It was
knowledge?
So much different experience.
Really?
Because when I opened the first one in Manchester, one, I was so young, I was such a different person. Two, I had no like knowledge of the industry or
Yeah.
how anything works.
You took a huge chance.
I didn't have any money either, so I was just buying everything on a budget. I just opened it on a whim. Didn't have a clue. Didn't even have a client base, really. It was just
Yeah.
a few people that I was doing lashes for. But the second time around was so much nicer because I already had a client base. I already knew how the industry worked. Didn't really have much of a budget. So it was so much better. I wish that the first time was like that.
Oh, don't we all?
Yeah.
So has expansion been something that's fell naturally for you the more you've became successful, would you say?
Yeah, so I think quite early on when I started doing aesthetics, I knew I didn't want to just stay in Manchester
Right.
because I feel like it's very different to doing lashes or makeup. Whereas, so for example, lashes can take 2 hours. I mean, I don't do them anymore, but when I used to do them, they would take about 2 hours. So you could fill your diary with 4 clients, but you can't do that with aesthetics. Like, I don't think there's anybody out there in the world that is truly fully booked 7 days a week in aesthetics, because the treatments are so quick.
Yeah.
So I knew that, and I always like being fully booked all the time. So when I made the switch from being a lash tech to a practitioner, I did feel like emptier, if that makes sense.
I can see where you're going with that. Yeah, because I suppose it felt different.
Even though I'd still probably had that same 4 clients in a day, I probably would have been done well earlier than I would have been doing lashes. So I knew I wanted to like branch out and go to different areas. So I started off actually doing my first clinic in Nottingham. That was just random. I just
back to your roots today.
Yeah, literally randomly just messaged a salon in Nottingham and was like, do you want me? And they were like, yeah. So started with that. That was really good. And then I actually fell on Portsmouth by accident, because everyone always says to me, oh, why do you have a salon
it is a bit
there?
random.
And it's so far away. It's so far. When I have to drive there, I'm like, why have I done this? But yeah, so basically what happened was I did a competition on my page to win a 5 mil package.
Right.
Random. And the person who won it was from Portsmouth. So she drove all the way from Portsmouth to Manchester to have the package. She brought one of her friends who also had the package, so she paid for her package. And when they were there, they were both like, oh my God, like, you need to come to Portsmouth. There's no one there doing it. And this was like 3.5 years ago.
No way. This is how it came around.
Just from that one competition. Wow. So random. So
you never know what you can do for free that's going to come back and end up being an opportunity. That's crazy.
Yeah, and literally tell this story all the time. It's so funny. So because Portsmouth is quite a, like, it's not a very big area, so it's not like London or Birmingham or anything like that. So there was nobody doing it there 3.5 years ago, like literally no one. So they were like, oh, you should do a clinic there. So I was like, oh, well, I actually am looking to branch out, so maybe I'll like, contact a clinic. So I contacted a salon called Pretty Bitch, and they was like hairdressers, but they did beauty as well.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, come down, we'd love you for you to come, blah blah blah. They put my appointments on, and they went like in a day.
What?
Honestly, like in a day. Like I just went down for the Saturday.
Did they?
It was fully booked. Like I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wow. Everyone who came was booking for the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. But because I could only do 1 day a week there. Sorry, not 1 day a week, 1 day a month. It just started getting like a waiting list, and then everyone wanted to do training there, so I was going down even more, and it's just been so busy there ever since.
Wow.
And I was the only academy teaching aesthetics there as well at one point, so this training just went through the roof.
Viral.
Yeah. The whole of Portsmouth now are doing it, which is so good. Love it. I love that for them. And then after a while, I just kind of grew out of their shop and was like, it is probably time to get my own space now. So
amazing. So any plans for any further expansion?
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. I mean, I'm open to doing pop-up clinics, like abroad or in different cities, but I definitely don't want any more shops.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? And are you managing everything on your own?
So I do pretty much manage everything on my own, but I also trained up my sister about 2 years ago.
That's nice.
So she does help with quite a lot of the other stuff that I'm not very good at, like admin.
Not very good at admin?
No, I hate
Come
admin.
on. I hate admin. It's the worst. I will leave that job till... Well,
yeah, literally. If I've got to ring up someone or email someone, it's just not happening. It's not happening.
It's like it's on your to-do list and you're like, yeah, I'll just get a coffee.
I'll move that to the next to-do list. And
really procrastinate with the admin.
Yeah.
Love it.
Not doing admin.
So what would you say then at this part of your career now has been your most moment where you've been so proud of yourself and you've thought, wow, like I'm literally so happy? Anything like did stand out for you, career achievements?
So apart from obviously opening both the clinics, because obviously I'm really
that was
proud
a huge
of that.
achievement. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 2 things really. So with the clinic, I've had quite a few students that have flown over from America to train with me, and I just couldn't even get my head around that. I was like, that's unreal. Where have you found me from? Little old me from Portsmouth. Like, how have you found me? So that I'm really proud of. So there's been quite a few this year. Another thing is I've actually taught...
Congratulations. Thanks. That's really nice.
Thanks.
That's really good.
I'm like, are you sure you're just here for me? Like, are you sure?
Imposter syndrome.
And then also I've managed to teach a few dentists this year,
Nice.
which was really good because when I was a dental nurse, I'm not going to lie, I didn't get treated the best by dentists.
Okay.
Not by all of them. Some of them were lovely. But the fact that I can now teach dentists how to do this is like a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, I bet.
So I love
Especially if you
that.
didn't have the best kind of experience.
Do you know what? I'd say 90% of them were great, to be honest. But there was like some days where I did feel like a slave.
Yeah, and then it kind of puts you off, and then it's kind of, it must be funny actually, and then you're sat there teaching them and you're kind of like, haha.
Yeah, who's laughing now?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, and also I feel like with the coaching side of things, I've done 2 events recently. My first one was in Feb, that was at P. Louise, and that one was sold out. And then my second one was in May, and we sold that one out as well. So that I was really proud of that.
Amazing.
Again, when I was launching that, I was thinking, who's going to come to this? Like, why would anyone come
What
to
was
this?
you doing then at those?
So we did like business coaching, social media tips, bit of
Amazing.
networking. So it was kind of like an all-rounder sort of thing. But like, I really enjoyed that. And then in next month, well, actually, it's in like a week or 2, I'll be going to my first retreat, and I've sold that out as well. So I'm really proud of that as well.
Oh, you've done so many achievements. And
So many.
did you ever feel like you would be in this position, or have you just kind of...
Absolutely not. So, you know, like when this, I would love to be one of them
Because
people.
this is like so many people's dream, to be like doing these events and selling out retreats and having people from America. Like, you've done very, very well.
Thank you. So have you.
Thank you.
Do you know what? I would love to be one of them people that says, oh, I manifested this. I knew it was going to happen.
That was going to be my next question.
Absolutely
No.
not. None of this was manifested, I don't think, anyway.
Okay.
Or maybe it was subconsciously. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm one of them people that knew any of this was going to happen. I feel like the only thing I would say is I've just kind of not give myself the option to fail. I was just
Quite hard on yourself.
Yeah, and as well, I feel like because I opened the shop with like no experience, no clients, no nothing, my ego took over a little bit. I was like, oh, I can't shut this shop now, and everyone knows that I've shut it.
Yeah,
like,
because
I can't open this big, massive shop and then turn around and be like, oh, closed now. I just thought I can't.
so you were kind of put yourself in the spotlight, and then we're like, oh God, I've got to do it. That's good though, because that gave you a different kind of pressure. And I think we'd all be lying if we say we didn't have a little bit of ego. Ego is what drives us.
And it was more an ego thing where it's like, I can't embarrass myself now and just shut all this business down. Not that it would be embarrassing, because if someone shut their business down now, I wouldn't think
you wouldn't. Of course,
wouldn't shame anyone.
You feel it like that. Yeah.
I was like, I would rather die inside than people think I've failed.
Yeah, I think as well, like, and you might not agree, so tell me if you don't, but I feel like when you're from Manchester, because there's so many powerhouse business women in particular from Manchester, you know, P. Louise, Manchester, Nadine Marabi, Manchester, as far as I'm aware, there is quite a lot. So I think in Manchester, I think female business owners do tend to do very well.
Yeah.
So that must be quite pressurizing from that kind of perspective. If you are around a lot more successful people, particularly in Manchester, I notice it all the time.
Yeah, I actually was speaking to someone about this the other day, and they were saying Manchester is like the capital city for aesthetics.
Yeah.
Not even just aesthetics, but just
most
female boss owners for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't feel pressure then, because I suppose I didn't really know enough about them people then. But yeah, I wouldn't say I felt pressure because it was Manchester. I just felt more pressure because I'd opened the shop and it was like, I just don't want to close it now and like feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
But some of my coaching clients as well are always saying to me, like, do you think I'm ready to open a salon? Do you think I'm ready to open a clinic? And I always say to them, the minute you do, you'll push yourself even further, because you will not want to close that clinic. So in my advice, just do it.
Yeah, there's no perfect time really to do anything.
There's not going to be one at all.
No, and I think if you're feeling comfortable, should you be doing something to push yourselves?
Yeah,
probably.
100%. And I think, again, I feel like when you've got a clinic, or a salon or whatever, I think it's more pressure to stay open, because you're like, right, I have to do this now. Whereas if you like renting a room somewhere, not that there's anything wrong with renting a room somewhere, I mean, it's a lot less stress.
Yeah.
But you kind of, sometimes you just need that fire to be like, right, I've got to do this now.
Yeah,
so yeah,
definitely.
I think that's what it was for me.
We're so driven, aren't we, by like how people perceive us and social media and everything else. So how do you find that social media then has influenced the aesthetics industry since you started?
So I feel like, so when I started my page, I was 19. So I've had the page for like over 10 years now. So a lot of people always say to me like, oh, you've got like, how did you get all them followers? It wasn't an overnight thing for me. It's been a 10-year slog. So it's not like, but I think to be honest, this day and age now with social media is actually a lot better because you can go viral now off one video and have 10,000 followers.
True. So
whereas
true.
I've never gone viral in my life. I would love to if anyone wants to make me go viral. But yeah, I think if anything, it's actually a lot better because it's a lot more like well known. Everyone has Instagram, everyone has TikTok. Whereas when I first started, it was just like we was all just figuring it out. We didn't actually know what we were even doing on it.
Yeah, that's how I felt as well because I started at a very similar time to you, like 10 years ago, that kind of, and it was just so different, and there wasn't wasn't really even like the Russian lips as such. It was just very basic, right?
And I feel like not many people even really knew about aesthetics until like, I feel like it was kind of like when Only Way is Essex came out and they were doing the Botox parties and the lip fillers. And that's when it was all like, right, okay, like anyone can have this done. Do you know what I mean? And it's not an expensive thing you have to go and like, get surgery for. So I feel like then Instagram didn't really exist, and especially not in this way it does now. Like there was no business page, there was no reels. No. It was just like, it was like a photo album. Yeah, literally. Like a Facebook photo album.
It's so different. It was completely
different.
So what would you, so if there are any girls that are listening that are looking at you and thinking, oh my God, wow, like what advice would you give to those girls that are watching or listening to this now if they're kind of wanting to aspire and achieve big things?
So I would definitely say like putting yourself out there more helps. Yeah. So like, I feel like there's a lot of successful people that like you just don't know about because they don't show their face or things like that. But I feel like it's just helps so much showing your face, like doing things like this. It's not like I'm like doing this to get paid or anything. It's just like brand awareness, personal branding. And I feel like you are your brand. Whereas again, back in the day, you could just have a logo, post some lip pictures and get busy.
Long gone are the days of having a logo. It's not the same, is it?
It doesn't matter anymore. And I think that's what people sort of, they're still sort of in that mindset where I need a logo, I need to post pictures, but like none of that even matters anymore.
It doesn't. And I watched something actually on Netflix a while ago and I can't remember what it was. I was watching it on a plane because I'm always on planes. It's the only time I watch TV. So I was watching something on Netflix and I can't remember the show, but basically they were talking about Lionel Richie and how successful he was and all of his songs and everything. And they actually made a really interesting comment that stuck with me for ages. And they said that Lionel Richie's songs became more famous than he did. And they had this huge meeting, all these big business people in America, what we're going to do, because Lionel Richie's songs were known, but everyone didn't really know who Lionel was. Yeah. And they said they had this epiphany moment and they said, I know what we're going to do. We're going to stick Lionel's face on everything. Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah. And
it's the same.
And there's the girls in my coaching programs or the girls that I just coach naturally, or my students, that is always my advice because they're like, what can I do? And I'm like, I always ask them this question. I say, if you think of someone in this industry now that you look up to that's successful, do you know what they look like? And they go, yeah, of course I do. And I'm like, but no one knows what you look like. Yeah. And that's what you need. Like, if I think of a really big aesthetics person or P. Louise, for example, and I know exactly what they look like, I know how they speak, I know what they dress like. Yeah. And I think that is everything.
And you can build a brand like that, right? Because it's 100%. You. It forms you.
Like, I personally don't, I mean, I use some of the products from P. Louise, but I am just obsessed with her. Like, I just love watching what she does in a day. Or like the Kardashians, I don't buy Skims clothes really. Yeah. I don't really buy Kylie lip kits. I just like watching them because they're just interesting. Yeah. And I think once you can sell yourself, you can then sell anything after that.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. Yeah. And I suppose that's what's really brought you into your mentoring and your coaching, because you've allowed yourself to grow and develop in a way that's made sense. Because I will say this, I have seen a huge influx of people that are calling themselves a coach, a mentor, that have been in aesthetics for like under a year in some cases. Yeah. You know, and this is, I think, what I love about your journey. It's very, very authentic. And I think when you're authentic, it really shows through, and that's what makes you so successful, because you've earned it. You know, you've grafted, you've done the Instagram for 10 years, you've started off as a dental nurse, you've developed your clinics, you've opened more branches, you've got your academy, you know, and I think that's why you probably do so well as you do, because you are authentic.
Yeah, and I do get a lot of people asking now to become a coach in my coaching programs, and some of them I do exactly think the same as you. I'm like, yeah, you have earned it. I always say to them, like, if you've got the ideal audience, like you've been teaching people for years and things like that, then go for it, because you've already trained all them people. Now they want to know how to get as good as you.
Yeah.
So I think if there is any training academies out there that have steady stream of students, definitely go for it, because you obviously know how to run a good business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you can always learn from people that have proven themselves. But I think especially with coaching, like when I did my coaching qualification, you don't just cover kind of like how to run business, but you cover a lot of the psychological things as well. And obviously it's about like keeping your clients safe.
Yeah.
Because if they're having a really crap day and you're trying to mentor them, how many times have you been on a call with a girl and her boyfriend's, you know, upset her or something? You have to get past that, don't you, before you can help them with the business.
I think it's a lot of the coaching isn't strategy. I think a lot of it is mindset.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before.
Yeah, I agree.
I was saying before, like me, when I said before, not giving myself the option to fail, that's not a strategy. That's a mindset. So like, I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, I'll post this today and then I'll get this many clients and I'll do this strategy. It was just me thinking, I cannot fail, and just being like consistent with that mindset.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can necessarily teach someone, but it is something you can make people aware of.
Definitely. And I think it's making people aware of the differences between strategy and mindset, because a lot of people, they don't actually know the differences, and I spend a lot of time actually teaching them, this is mindset, this is strategy, but you do need both, I believe, in order to push forwards.
I think I could teach someone all the strategies in the world, but if your mindset's not in the right place, none of them are going to work.
Yeah.
Like literally none of them will work.
Yeah, I agree.
And that is kind of like manifesting, I suppose. Even though I'm not like a manifestation expert, I kind of link it with mindset a little bit. Like, you know, if you think you're not going to be able to do it, you probably won't do it. So you do need to be like,
you have to believe in yourself, and you have
to
have that confidence, don't you, to really push yourself. And I think if you don't have that, you can get left behind. And I think that goes back really well with your advice. Show your face.
Yeah.
Because if people know who you are and they see you, you become more relatable.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in that don't let myself fail mindset every single day. Like I sometimes wake up and think, oh, I can't bother today.
A bad day,
or sometimes a week goes by and I think, oh, I don't want to post on my Instagram this week. So it's not like every day you've got to be this positive, like bubbly person, but I think it's more about like having an overall mindset of you're not going to quit just because you had a bad week, sort of thing.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you faced more kind of recently, the kind of more successful you've come? And this can be personal to you, or this can be kind of business wise, but what have you struggled with the most?
To be honest, I don't feel like there's been any one particular thing, but I think just trying to juggle everything, to be honest.
It's a lot, yeah.
So obviously I've got the 2 clinics, I've got the coaching business, and I don't know why, but recently I've decided on a new business venture. So I'm opening like a content studio. So you know where people can just rent it and they'll take pictures and stuff like that.
I feel like there's a need for that at the moment.
Yeah, and I feel like I recently went on a shoot in a content studio and loved it. And I was like, I need one of these. So I was like, off I went.
This is what all entrepreneurs do. They go somewhere and do something. And then at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, I'm doing this, but I'm doing this HD.
Yeah. And I thought, do you know what? Everyone's always asking me, where do you take your content? And I know loads of people in the industry.
And you're referring all the time out.
Exactly. And I know quite a few people with fashion brands. And I thought, I should get one of these.
Yeah.
I can do my own content.
That's really cool. Well, count me in.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought I can do my own content in here. I can get other practitioners to do content, podcasts, whatever they want to do in there. But recently, I think I've always been quite good at juggling. But recently, the fact that there's now a third thing in the air, that has been making me struggle a little bit. And I think as well, because I'm always saying like, oh, I'm an expert at this and I'm an expert at that, because obviously that's how you have to present yourself. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've not posted on my page this week. Is everyone going to think I'm not an expert?
Oh.
But I think you're going to have weeks like that, aren't you?
Yeah, you do. I mean, do you struggle to switch off at the end of the day, or are you quite good?
Yes, I do struggle to switch off at the end of the day.
What's your normal finish time, Lucy?
So to be honest, I normally finish in the clinic, I'd say, because I normally do like quite long days and I just do a few. So I don't normally do like every day. So I'll normally finish at like 8 o'clock. That's like my last clinic. Because obviously
Quite late.
Because people want after work, stuff like that, don't they?
Quite late.
If I'm teaching, it'll usually be like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But then when I got home, I've got like the coaching calls. And so I never really am stopping work, even though I'm at home. But do you know what I've actually discovered recently?
Go on.
The Kourtney Kardashian Let Me Sleep. Oh my God.
Is it good?
It's the best thing I've ever tried in my life.
Oh my God.
And I think it's just because, like, normally I'd be asleep, but I'd still be thinking about this, that, and what can I post tomorrow.
I am getting this as soon as we've finished.
Those gummies turn all the thoughts off.
Really? So they do
off.
work. Are they CBD based?
I think it's like magnesium.
Okay.
In a chewable...
magnesium is supposed to be so good.
Yeah, it's like magnesium and lavender in like a chewable sweet. And
okay.
honestly, like nothing puts me to sleep. I'll literally be up all night thinking about TikToks.
Yeah.
Or just scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah.
And those just turn all the thoughts off.
Wow.
Fast asleep, and I just wake up the next day.
So they've really been working for you.
Really good.
I mean, try these.
They're next to my bed at all times. My bag, everything. So yeah.
Do you know what I found? Like the more busy I get with work, the more like the bedtime routine. I'm turning into an old lady.
Yeah.
I like my lavender on. I like my little side lamp. I like a cup of tea. Yeah. All has to be set out and ready. And I have to have like this set routine. Otherwise, I can't settle down. I don't know what's happened to me.
I literally can't look at my phone for like half an hour before I go to sleep because...
Oh, that is such a good tip.
I'll be doom scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah,
and
that is such a good tip.
And I think I've convinced myself, I'm doing this strategically so I can get ideas. I'm not. I'm just mindfully scrolling, watching random things. So yeah, I always try and...
Why do we do it to ourselves?
On the bottle, it says take 2 half an hour before bed. So I take the 2, put my phone down, and then I just try and...
I love that.
Relax.
I'm going to give this a go and I'm going to let you know how I get on.
Please try them because they're so good.
I actually am. And I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, switching off.
Yeah.
Because when you're in charge of so many things, it's
I'm one of them people as well that I'll get a random business idea at 2 a.m. And then I'm like, I have to do it now.
Yeah, I have to write, or at least write it down.
I have to wake up, go to the computer, and it's like, I need to stop doing that because I'll still probably have the idea in the morning. Like, just chill out.
Yeah, but you're so scared that you're going to forget.
I'll have a dream about it and then I'll wake up like, shit, I need to write that down.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the same. I think it's like the curse of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, and I think...
We're always thinking.
I feel like they've kind of diagnosed 90% of entrepreneurs now with ADHD.
Yeah.
Have you heard this?
Yeah, I have. I have heard this. This has been a new thing though.
Yeah.
Because ADHD wasn't really a thing when I was growing up. And it was like you're naughty or you're...
Loud.
Yeah.
But now it's like you actually just think a lot and stuff like that. Creative.
Yeah, but the more you unlock the creative box as an ADHDer, the more you just like get out of control.
Yeah.
But I can literally plan to do like, I'm doing a shoot actually next week and I was planning content last night and I'm like a psycho. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this and it's just going to be really low key and we're going to have some A5 tent cards. And the next thing I'm like saying to my mum, do you think we could actually get a horse there? And she's like, a horse? What are you talking about? I'm just like crazy. I can't keep things on a level.
Well, this was me with the content studio. So I went to one and then the next day I went to view one the next day.
Wow. So you were quick.
The next day I literally went to view one and then the day after that I was like, yeah, I want it. And my sister was like, what? You're opening a what? Because she'd been away for like 3 days. And I was like, yeah, I'm opening a new business. And everyone was like, since when?
Since yesterday.
I just have to do it. Otherwise I'm not going to do it.
That's so good though. So, and I think don't procrastinate. If you have a business idea, go for it.
Yeah, and I think if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world.
You've got nothing to lose, have you, really, as such?
Not really.
No.
I mean, maybe a bit of money, but you can earn it back.
Money comes and goes. That's it.
Exactly.
And this is what I always say. It's like, I feel like some people, they're so desperate to hold on to their money, but actually you have to speculate to accumulate.
You have to spend money to make money, 100%.
You do.
100%.
And like, how much are you reinvesting all the time into your academy, into your coaching and mentoring to make it, you know, an even better experience for everyone?
Yeah, and that's another thing I always say with the coaching. Like, I didn't just become a coach just off the back of my own ideas. I had a coach who then coached me to become a coach.
Yeah.
So I have actually put money into a coach, and I still have one now.
Yeah.
Because
same. Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, because I'm investing all the time, and then it is a return on investment having a coach because they're going to teach you exactly what works rather than you having to figure out what doesn't work.
Exactly. And you can actually, even though it feels like you're spending money, you actually save money because you're making it back, because you're not making the mistakes.
Yeah, and I wish coaching was out then when I was 23, because
so do I.
I mean, I would have literally made so less mistakes, and that would have been like such a quicker route for me if I had a coach then. But obviously, it wasn't really a thing then.
No, so, and I suppose it has kind of made you what you are today, and you obviously are successful, and you've done very, very well. So you have a sister. So did you come from a big family?
So I've got 2 sisters and 1 brother. I don't know if you would class that as big, but my mum is Irish, and she's got she's one of 12.
Oh,
so
wow.
we do have a lot of extended family.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say we are quite family orientated.
Oh, and your mum must be really proud of you.
My mum's actually my receptionist as well.
Is she? Why do all the mums always end up on reception? My mum ends up on reception a lot.
She loves it, my mum. Honestly, she would work for free. She absolutely loves it.
Does she get all the work done? Is she
she's like talking to all the clients, and she's like, oh, that's my Lucy upstairs. She's so proud, bless her.
Oh, that is so sweet.
She's literally the cutest person ever. Honestly, in my Portsmouth salon, because I take her there with me as well when I go to Portsmouth, some people will just come in and be like, oh, is Yvonne here today? And I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, everyone loves her. Like, everyone's there to see my mum now, not me.
That is so sweet though, isn't it? And how amazing is it that you've not only been able to provide a job for yourself, but you've actually been able to provide something for like your extended family that they actually love.
And do you know what else as well? If anyone like is thinking of doing that, 100% recommend, because I've had people in the past that weren't family members, and it's just gone not great. So like, at least with your family members, you can always trust them.
If you get a bad egg with staff,
yeah, it's not great.
No,
it's not
great. It's psychologically
and you just
stressful.
Cannot gauge whether that's going to happen or not, because obviously when you interview someone, they're going to be fantastic the first week, they're going to be great, and then it all just goes downhill after that.
Yeah, and they don't have the same, I always say this, they don't have like the same love for that business.
Exactly.
Because it's not theirs.
Yeah.
Like, it's our babies, you know, and it's everything. But to them, you know, if you've not got the right person, it can just be a job. I think picking staff is so difficult.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I've got an amazing team of staff now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been...
It takes time though, doesn't it? Yeah,
time.
my team are amazing now.
But you do find that like someone is either there to learn from you and then take it away and then go and do their own thing, or they're just there because it's a job and like they just get money. But no one is going to do as good a job as yourself or your own family. So, yeah.
Are you quite good at delegation, or do you tend to keep a lot of the big jobs for yourself?
So I'm not very good at delegation. To be honest, I wish
the
I was.
Smile on your face as I asked you that question. You're like, no.
I wish I was, but I'm absolutely not. I'm just trying to do everything, and I just realised the other day I can just hire someone to do this. What am I even doing it for? Like, there's no point. But my sister's really helped me, because we're like chalk and cheese. So she's like organisation mad, and I'm more creative. Let's do this. Let's do that. So since she's been in the business, we've worked really well.
It's helped.
And like, I don't like being strict. I don't like telling people off. I don't like confrontation.
Oh.
So if there ever needs to be any of that, she's happy to just be like, okay, let's not do this, girls.
Why does confrontation make us so anxious? I hate it.
I hate it.
I will do anything.
I will literally just have someone work for me that's like not necessarily doing something wrong, but that just isn't necessarily who I want there, just because I can't be bothered to address it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just hate it so much.
You're the same as me. What is that?
I don't know. I'm not scared of it. I just think I just rather have an easy life. Like, I just don't want to be into argument. I hate drama.
Yeah.
I just don't want it.
Yeah, I feel like I've got worse with this since my divorce, because I was married actually, and since my divorce, because he was so confrontational, I just feel like now I'm just like, because he's gone, I'm just like, any confrontation, I'm like, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't handle it.
No, honestly, I would literally rather just be quiet than get into any confrontation.
Yeah.
But my sister's really helped with that, to be fair. So if there is anything that's
not
like
everyone's skill set's the same, and we're not all going to be, you know, good at the same things, I suppose. It's just about recognizing what you're good at and what you're not good at, I think
as well, the reason why we're probably not great at it is because we've always been, well, most of the time been self-employed, but my sister's always had an employed job up until like 2 years ago. So I think she's learnt those skills from like corporate jobs, whereas I've just been like winging it.
Yeah.
So I've never had to get in a confrontation with anyone because I've never been in a corporate job.
Yeah, I love how honest you are. So you've never like done any business degrees or anything? You've literally just self-taught everything. That's amazing.
No, apart from obviously my aesthetics qualifications and things like that. I've never done a business degree. I never studied business. I've had a business coach now for like over a year, so they've taught me a lot. But most things I've just done from trial and error, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
because
amazing.
I think sometimes I obviously don't know what's included in a business degree, but I think sometimes you have to try stuff to see if it works.
Yeah, you do.
And stuff's not going to work for every industry either. I feel like every industry is going to be a bit different, isn't it?
Definitely. So what's on the cards for you next? Because I'm kind of hearing all of this and I'm like, she's doing so well. What possibly could be on your kind of target list? What big things have you got planned?
So I'm going to be going over to America in the new year.
Amazing.
So I'm going to be going over and teaching because I've had quite a few people come over from the US now. I feel like my following from the US has got a little bit larger and I keep getting inquiries. So I thought, you know what, I'll go out there for 2-3 weeks, do a bit of teaching, do a bit of treatments. But apart from that, I'm just going to carry on with the clinics. I would like to give
apart from that small thing.
I'm going to keep doing the clinics. Definitely got more retreats coming up. Just going to build the coaching business, and I would love to give my sister some more responsibility so I can just chill out a bit.
She'll be listening to this like, yes.
Or she'll be like, no, I'm not doing that.
So tell me a little bit more about the retreats.
So the one we're doing in Dubai is next month. Sorry, it's this month really, isn't it? What's in like a week, so November.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a 4-day retreat. We're going to be doing it on the Palm in a villa. So we're going to be doing like business coaching. We've got a few like nights out planned, bit like dinners, stuff like that. And most of the girls that are on it are already in my coaching program anyway.
Nice.
So we're all just kind of using it as like a celebration at the end of the program. And obviously we'll just be doing a bit of business coaching, but just having a bit of fun with it as well.
Lovely. That's really nice. And what like a nice thing for the girls to all come together and just chat and network.
And the only reason I'm actually even doing it is because I went on a retreat last year in Dubai, and that's how I actually stumbled across becoming a business coach, because I wasn't even thinking of becoming one at all. And that whole retreat was around business coaching, but I didn't actually know that when I booked it. I thought I was just going to go to Dubai, have some fun, like learn a bit about business. But that was like
you're quite easygoing, aren't you?
Yeah. I thought I was just going to like take some content, Dubai, like chill. But that was all about like becoming a business coach. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then on the last day I thought, you know what, I'll try it. Everyone else is doing it. Why not? And then the response was amazing. I didn't realise how many people wanted it. So I was like, oh yeah, definitely going to do that. So that's where it kind of all stemmed from last year. So I thought, why not just try and do the same? And I love Dubai as well. Any reason to go to Dubai?
Dubai is so cool. I'm going actually in November for a big event.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm excited. But
so
I've not
good.
been for a long, long time. So
November's such a good time to go as well.
It's a bit cooler, right?
Yeah, because
Please be cooler.
In September, like August, September, it's just horrific.
It's too hot.
Like horrific.
See, I'm used to the heat because of my clinics in Spain, but Dubai is another heat. Yeah.
But it's quite nice in November. It's still hot, but like bearable. So yeah, it'll be nice.
Wow. You've done so well.
Thank you.
And I think you should be. Thank you. You should be very proud of yourself. And yeah, I think what you've achieved is absolutely amazing. You're very inspiring for anyone that's either watching or listening, which is what I really wanted to kind of invite you on and get across.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Biggest aesthetic icks. I'm going to let you go first with your first one.
Right, okay. So I've been thinking about this one quite a lot.
On the drive down.
Right, please don't want to offend anyone with this at all. So I apologise to everyone I'm about to offend. But my biggest ick is when there's a new trend of a video and then it's everywhere. So like at the moment it's the squishy one.
I've seen it and it's gross.
Do you know what? Some people I know who I absolutely adore have posted it, so I'm so sorry to anyone that I'm about to offend, but it's doing my head in.
Yeah.
It's the squishing.
It's gross as well. And I think it's like you see it once.
And you're like, I'm over it now.
That everyone's doing it.
Yeah, so that's my biggest ick, I think.
Right
like,
now.
Yeah, like I remember ages ago it was like another
That's a good
thing.
ick. I'm on board. I'm on board.
Yeah. It's like the first time I seen the squish one, I was like, oh, what's that? And then now I'm like, I've seen it 50 times this week.
Yeah, and it's the same.
I'm over it now.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Apparently, though, it's like a Telegram thing. It's not an Instagram thing.
Oh, right, is it?
I'm not very...
Well, I've seen it once, and then once I've seen that one, I've seen it about 50 times, and I'm like, right, we're going to have to stop this now. Let's do something else. So I think that's my biggest ick. Sorry, everyone, to have just offended. I love you all.
For anyone that's done it, you still have time to delete it.
Yeah. Do you know what? Some of the people that I absolutely adore on Instagram have done it, but it's not that I don't like them.
It's not a personal attack on them. It's just
that in particular video now has kind of scratched my brain in the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we're speaking on behalf of a lot of people here.
Yeah, it's rubbed me up the wrong way, that one. I'm not going to lie. It's got under my skin. So yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Have you got any industry icks?
I have, but again, it is a bit of an offender because I see people doing it all the time, especially people that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you've done it.
Sorry to all our friends.
You might have even done it yourself and be like, Jess, that's just ridiculous. But it really icks me.
Go for it.
When I see a video in clinics and they're injecting and they have their toes out.
Oh, like with slides on.
Oh, it really bothers me.
I think I have probably done it, but I don't think I've filmed it.
Yeah. And there's a difference between doing it and being aware and then actually putting it out there.
Yeah.
And I just think, would I want to see someone's toes that was like, you know.
I do wear slides a lot, so I'm going to have to say I'm guilty. But I don't think I've ever filmed it.
It's the filming it, I think. That
maybe just cut the legs off.
Cut the legs off. And I mean, imagine like if you were having something done and you were just like staring at someone's toes.
Yeah. I mean, most aesthetics girls I imagine have nice toes, but still, cut it off your video maybe.
But I don't like feet.
Yeah.
I can't do feet.
Feet don't really bother me, to be fair, but I know what you mean. Maybe just put some trainers on for the video. Maybe.
Please. Thank you. Okay, another one. Come on.
Let me think. Right, I must have one. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this because I really don't want to offend anyone.
Go on. It's fine.
Let me think. Have I got another
We'll put a disclaimer.
I'll have to think about this. Quite hard. I can't think of one now. I think it is just what I've just said, like when there's one video and then it blows up and then it's just like copied everywhere. Yeah. And I'm not saying I've never copied one. I'm sure I probably have took inspiration from someone and it's been the similar. But I think if you're going to do it, at least change it a little bit. Yeah, because it
just gets crazy. And I think something that's unique then becomes like a bit tacky, doesn't it? When everyone's doing it and it's the same. It's a bit like,
I think if you're doing it a different way, then it's fine. But I think if you just literally copy and paste, maybe change it a little bit. Yeah,
just be authentic is what we're saying. Yeah, be authentic as much as you can.
Or just put your own spin on it. At least do us that favour.
Yeah.
At least.
There's so many people that listen to this now that are either deleting or unfollowing both of us.
Or changing the caption. Quick, better change that.
Oh my God.
Do you know what else as well used to be really popular? And I am actually guilty of this one. The tissues.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the tissues?
Oh no, I've done this.
I did the tissues. I actually really liked the tissues, but then we had to all come away from it because I think it was getting a bit much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm guilty of the tissues, definitely.
Yeah, I used to do that.
But that was all the rage.
It was. But
maybe not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Maybe let's throw the tissues away.
There needs to be like a new trend.
I think now it's like collages, isn't it? Like the same lips but 5 times. I think that's like the new thing.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me
because I think it looks nice.
Yeah, quite like that.
But that squishy thing, I don't know, it makes me feel really weird.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No,
I liked it the first one I seen, and because it actually was like, oh, I didn't know you was about to do that. Yeah. And then after that, I hate it now.
Too much.
I absolutely cannot stand it.
Too much. And when there's like thousands of practitioners that have all jumped on it on the same week.
And I think it's now everyone's doing it with different things as well. I've seen someone do it of like a picture of Kim Kardashian.
Really?
They'd like squished her. And I thought,
okay. So it's gone even further.
It's gone too far. We need to cancel it ASAP.
Oh my God.
Imagine if I would have said that and you would have done it.
I haven't done it.
I would have died.
Would you? I'd have been like, right, get out.
Delete.
Do you know what? I'm actually not in charge of any of social media.
Because
I'm shocking.
No.
I'm shocking.
Do you know what? That is probably my favourite part about being...
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's why I really wanted to go into the coaching because there was one time last year where I was really overworked. And when I say overworked, woe is me, I was really busy. But you know what I mean? I was just like teaching a lot. It was like a boom of people wanting to get into the industry. So I was doing a lot of beginners. So you know when you're repeating yourself every day, like you said the same thing every day. And then at the end of the course, because we like someone actually said to me, asked me a social media question, and I was like buzzing to answer it. And I
Oh,
thought,
really?
And that I had a light bulb moment. I thought, right, so I've just been bored telling her about vascular occlusions and stuff like that. But that's actually really excited me because I love social media, and I think that's why I wanted to do it.
Oh, when it made you realise.
Yeah, I love a bit of social media.
This is why you should always have your fingers in a few pies, because you never know what's gonna like get you going, like what's gonna tick your box, and you're like, yeah,
And don't
I
get me
actually
wrong,
enjoyed that.
I absolutely love teaching beginners, but it was one of them weeks where I'd had like a lot of them.
Oh yeah.
So I was just
imagine.
like, I need to just chill out for a bit. So now it's not as busy because obviously there's like different things going on, different stuff, but I do still love it. But it was one of them weeks where you've said the same thing 10 times and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and I think that teaching, even though we do love it, can be very, very draining, because you cannot take your eyes off anyone.
I could do a full day of clients 10 till 10. I mean, I don't, but I could have.
Yeah.
And gone home and been like, fine. If I do a beginner's course 9 till 5,
yeah,
my brain is
I'm exhausted.
fried. And my students are fried too.
Yeah.
They come in the next day and they're like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. And I'm like, no, I am too.
Yeah, it's a lot. I tell them though, I warn them. I'm like, after today, you're probably going to be feeling, you know, because it is full on, because we'd like to give them a lot of practical
I
hands-on.
stop everyone every 5 minutes. I'm like, is everyone okay? Is
Yeah.
everyone still
Does
with
anyone
me?
need to like lie down in the back and die on the floor?
Does anyone like want to leave right now? And when you start mentioning the vascular occlusions, they're like, you can see the looks on their faces. They're all like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah, I think the vascular occlusion talk is never a mood lightener, is it?
And even though they've read all the manuals, when you say it
To
out
the
loud and
faces.
you show them the pictures, and they're all like, oh God. And I think, to be honest, everyone thinks everything's a vascular occlusion at first, don't they? I mean, I probably did as well.
I used to.
Every time I bruise
obviously
someone,
now,
I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's over. The dead.
The dead,
get
even
sued.
though it is literally just Highleys
Yeah.
and they're fine.
Yeah, the dead is going to get sued
That
at the end
is-
of my career. But yeah,
I'm just going to shut my business. Everything's over. I've never had a vascular occlusion.
I've had one.
Okay, that's not bad going.
Yeah, one in like 5 years, which
That's
isn't
not
too
bad.
bad.
I've had a compression.
I've had a couple of compressions.
Nose.
No, I've actually never had anything in the nose.
Wow, I've had one compression in the nose.
I've had a couple of compressions that I've had to deal with in the nose from other people, like my students,
Yeah.
maybe. But I've had one vascular occlusion. It was actually in the lips, weirdly enough.
Oh.
But I dissolved it, and she was back to normal in like, honestly, when I say seconds, I mean seconds. The colour
Yeah.
came back to the skin so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, even though I didn't want to cause it, I'm quite glad I did.
Because it made you face the fear.
Yeah, so like if it ever happens again, I know, well, even though I knew what to do anyway, I wouldn't be
as panicky.
stressed at all.
Yeah, I think it's because it's like the unknown. Like it's the one thing that is spoken about so much, like vascular occlusion, but then when it actually happens,
Yeah, and
you're just like, oh, like I just have to deal with it like everything else. It's no different.
And I'm so glad when it did happen, it was like 3 years in. So I was pretty competent by that point.
Yeah.
If I would have got it in the first month, I would have probably packed up and never done it again.
Well, yeah, because that would be traumatizing, wouldn't it, for someone that's new?
But yeah, after 3 years, I was kind of like, right, it's fine.
Yeah,
we can
I
sort this
think
out.
that you've done really well just to get the. I mean, I've not had one,
Yeah, well, that's good. Good going.
but it's not to say that I'm not going to.
Yeah,
you know.
They always say, don't they, if you see enough people, you'll eventually cause one, because it's potluck,
Yeah,
isn't it,
it's part
sometimes?
of the.
It's
job.
not a bad practitioner, is it? It's just...
No, and it can happen to anyone, no matter who you are.
And everyone's anatomy is so different. My boyfriend actually has two, his ILA and his SLA both like pump all day.
Oh,
They're both like pulsing, like
wow.
at the top of the skin. So obviously he's not got deep arteries.
Wow.
So that just made me realise that obviously not everyone's arteries in the same place.
Yeah,
they tell
that
us
is
they
so
are.
true. So they're just there all the time.
Yeah, I'll
can
show you a
see
video
them.
after. They're literally like this all day.
Wow.
Like I noticed one day and I was like, oh, let me take a video of that. I need to see it. So yeah, it just proves, doesn't it?
I bet he never knew. He was like, "What?"
I show it to all my students and he's like, will you stop showing everyone that, please?
It's so mortifying for the boyfriend.
He didn't even notice until I
Really?
know, because obviously it's not really something you'd look at in the
Yeah,
mirror,
not
is
as a guy, I don't think.
No, and
guys are not that perceptive.
no.
compared
But
to
yeah,
us
when I
girls.
seen it, I was like, oh, gotta get a video of that.
Yeah, no, that is so cool. You'll have to show it to me.
Have you ever seen one?
I've seen one, but not quite how you've explained that. So it'd be interesting
the
to
top
see it.
one is really hard to see. Like you would have to really stare at it, but the bottom one's really obvious. It's really obvious, yeah. And if he's been to the gym, it's like
It pumps it.
yeah, it's like, no, it's like on steroids. It's like really fast. It's mad. So when he gets back to the gym, I'm like, quick, get on the bed. Let's have a photo.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
Why do the boyfriends always get roped into the crappiest jobs? Like,
I made him do a voiceover for me the other day. It was like, boyfriend does my voiceover. So he was like voicing over when I was doing
Oh
like
my
a client's
God.
treatment. It was so funny.
oh my God, I bet that was hilarious.
He literally thought he knew what he was talking about as well. He was like dead proud of it.
Do you know what? I want to see that as well.
Yeah, I'll have to
I
show
need to
you.
see it. But that's what I mean. Thinking of like quirky stuff for your socials just keeps it fresh.
And I think as well, we're in the very short attention span era. So like YouTube shorts, TikToks.
Yeah.
And I think all my students worry about content so much. I'm like, anything can be content. 10 seconds, just do it.
10 seconds,
anything.
literally. Yeah.
And I think I've never gone viral. I mean, hopefully I will one day. But any of the videos I've had that have gone like little bit viral, like got a lot of views, they've always been 10 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And they've been crap. Like, had no thought into them at all.
Yeah, because it's just quicker for people to slide and scroll, I suppose.
Like, I did one of how to correct a spot brow. I literally just lifted my eyebrow and drew a dot, and I got like 120k views, and I was like, I put no thought into that.
Wow.
So you just never know.
You never know. So never don't do anything.
Yeah, just post it.
Is the advice.
It'll probably go viral anyway.
No disclaimers here for anyone that doesn't go viral following Lucy's advice.
Everyone giving me hate messages like, I didn't go viral. I've never been
Social
viral
media though, you can't predict it, can you?
No, and sometimes you put so much thought into a reel and you're like, this is the one, and then you get like 2 and you're like, oh,
and you're like, oh, okay,
crickets,
archive.
Didn't
happen.
But then you do one that you're like, oh, I'll just try it, post it, not really bothered.
Yeah.
And then you're like, whoa, look at all these followers.
Yeah.
Like crazy. I put some filler on a piece of toast recently.
Yeah.
And spreaded it, and I got 150k views.
But again,
From
it's weird and no one's done it.
Yeah, it's just like stupid things like that.
Are you quite active on TikTok?
No, I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I'm not that active on it.
More Instagram.
It's one of them where a week will go by and I've not even posted anything on TikTok, but Instagram I am quite
on it.
But what I tend to do sometimes, which I don't know is good advice or not because I'm not a TikTok specialist, is I'll just post the same thing that I post on TikTok on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or on TikTok I'm a little bit more personal as well, like I'll speak about like the new shoes that I've bought and stuff like that. Whereas on Instagram it is just about aesthetics, if you know what I mean.
You keep it more specific.
My TikTok's just a free-for-all at the minute.
Yeah, but that's good because
everything.
That's like, you know, everyone getting to know you and you know, that's what people
like. If I bought new shoes I'll go on TikTok and talk about them, but I wouldn't necessarily do that on my aesthetics page. It's more
that's quite cool though,
more of a
you
story
do that.
than a feed post.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. That's what I need to do more of that. But it's so hard, like, and I've got a little boy as well, so he's always like, Mummy.
It's hard managing because I've got 2 Instagrams and a TikTok. It's like by the time I've done the Instagrams, I've forgot about TikTok. And it's
gone to bed. Got your what were they called?
Yeah, the Let Me Sleep.
You've had a Let Me Sleep and you're off.
But yeah, again, I feel like TikTok's really random. Like I've had one viral video on TikTok and it was the most stupidest video in the world.
Crazy.
So I just think
you just never know.
The stupider the better, really.
One we've done. Should we put? What can we do with the cars? Let's do a like a little thing with the cars, like something to do with filler. I don't even know, like something random.
Yeah, we'll think of something. Do you know what? I actually go to lengths to get stupid videos. So recently I bought a 2-foot long gummy worm. I bought it off Amazon just for this video. It was 2 feet long. It was huge, edible one. And I put it on the bed and I give it some eyelashes and some gummy lips. And I actually injected its lips. And I put the caption as me getting my lips done after asking my boyfriend if he'd still love me if I was a worm. And it done really well, actually.
That is so creative.
But I was like, I'm just going to do it. And my sister was like, what the hell are you doing?
No, that is so creative. I love that.
So it's just like stupid stuff like that.
But that shows that you have a creative flair and you've not just thought of the idea, you've actually done it and you've not cared about what people think. You've gone, I'm just going to do it because, and that's actually so funny.
I think that's another thing that people like, especially some of the girls that I coach, they're like, oh, well, is anyone even going to laugh? And I'm like,
so what though? What? Yeah.
If you and I think, do you think that about my videos? And they go, no, your videos are well funny. I'm like, well, they'd probably think the same about yours.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah. But everyone's so in their head about
self-critical on yourself.
Yeah, and some of them go to me, oh, well, I've never posted funny videos before, so do you think it would be weird if I started now? I'm like, no.
Well,
it'd be
great.
great.
You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, if anything, it'd be better because no one's ever seen that side of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, right, I'm going to do it. I'm like, right, do it. do it. So yeah,
love it.
The stupider the better, really.
Yeah, I agree. Like, life's too serious, right?
Yeah. And the aesthetics industry is way too serious.
Yeah.
For my liking.
Yeah, it is. We need more gummy worms.
Yeah.
2 foot long. Yeah. You could even make a fourth business.
It was gross. I literally put it in the bin after I touched it. I was like, this is disgusting. It needs to go in the bin right now. Wasted tenner on it.
A tenner.
I was like,
Amazon has some really weird and wonderful things that we can use.
What else could we do? So I recently did one where I put some empty empty syringes and Botox vials in a pan. And I like shoved the pan around, put some
Oh,
salt
like
on
you
it.
were like doing.
And I put something like my dinner when I've spent all my money on fillers. That's a
See
good one.
again, so
That's a funny one.
creative. Okay, so should be another business idea for you. Like weird and wonderful ways to create content.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to write a list and
that aren't
and sell
squashy
it.
lips. No wonder you're so triggered by the squashy lips. Because look at all this:
I hate the squashy
Amazon,
lips.
caterpillars.
I went to Lent for that worm.
Yeah, I know.
If anyone copies me now, no, I'm joking.
You start a trend.
Yeah, maybe.
You were the first.
Yeah, I want credit for that, please.
Yeah, you were the first.
And the toast.
It was said here.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I've absolutely loved talking
Me
to you.
too,
You've been a
thank
breath
you.
of fresh air. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
coming
having
on.
me.
Oh, you're welcome. I've been really, really looking forward to having you. I knew that this was going to be an interesting
Oh,
chat.
thanks. We'll have to go and do some TikToks now.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Should we think of something really weird and wonderful? And yeah, so we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for either listening or watching. And if you want to find Lucy, we can probably pop her Instagram on the bottom of the page for you. So if you want to give her a follow, that would be great.